I want to be more involved in football on YouTube over the winter break, and where better to start than one of my most controversial long-term opinions on Twitter, that Falcao really isn't as good as people say he is. I've actually spoken about this once before on my project called The 12th Men. I'll talk more about that at the end, so let's run through the video and I'll try and elaborate a bit as I go on.
I think Falcao will start banging him in on a regular basis now.
I think you're completely wrong.
I don't know. He's like, I don't know, I think personally, I think he's one of the best strikers in the past decade.
Come on.
I think he's one of the most overrated footballers of any position in the last 100 years. Okay, not in the last 100 years. He's very overrated.
For those of you that haven't heard me speak about this before, just wait, let me elaborate. I sound like such a dickhead in this.
He scores goals. That's a striker's job.
He doesn't score goals. He had a few seasons at Porto and Atletico and Atleti where he had a fairly strong goal-scoring record, which was never best three players in the world, backed up hugely by a very, very large volume of penalties.
Why is it important that we talk about penalties? Because penalties have a much higher chance of going in than any other type of shot, and any player can take them. So really, in terms of how good a player is at scoring contribution, you can isolate penalties and see how good they are at taking penalties, but in terms of just how good they are at scoring goals, I really don't think that their penalty-taking ability comes into that.
I think it's a myth. I think it's a real myth that Falcao was ever one of the greatest players in the world. He's very, very good. He was, during those 3 seasons, very, very good. I think that's completely undeniable. But in reality, even in those seasons, his goal-scoring record wasn't out of this world. It was massively boosted by penalties.
In that season at Atletico Madrid, when he scored 28 goals, 8 of them were penalties. So he scored 20 goals that season, which, compared to Negredo's 21 goals and Soldado's 19 goals that same season, really starts not to look that special.
He didn't really contribute anything to the side apart from goal scoring.
Throughout his best seasons, Falcao's assist, through ball and key pass numbers are all very, very low, even for a forward like him.
Atleti didn't really look worse without him on the pitch, and I think now he's a worse version of that, where his injuries have come back from when he was like 19 to haunt him. Common
belief seems to hold that Falcao's injury woes are only quite recent, like in the last year or two. In reality, he's had serious injury problems from like 2005, 2006, around there, when he was particularly young. I've done very well in those seasons at Atletico, Porto, all of that, to overcome those issues, but they are long-term problems.
I think we'll see it. That's my slightly bold prediction for this year, is that Falcao won't reach. If he does reach 15, 20 goals, he won't do it a second time.
That clip was recorded at the beginning of the season, but I've been saying this about Falcao for a while. I think at best he's an expensive, pretty good striker at Manchester United, and at worst he's an overpaid, off-peak, injury-prone, one-dimensional number 9 who's simply not world-class at the one thing he used to excel at. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, leave a like, otherwise subscribe, because there will be plenty more videos in the coming months. And I hope to see you in the comments. I'm just editing the video now, and there are a few things I forgot to say. Firstly, the role of a striker in football. I'm sure a lot of people in the comments would have already started typing that the role of a striker is to score goals. So why is it such a bad thing that he could only score goals? Well, I think more and more since the days of Thierry Henry, a striker's role has become much more than just scoring goals. If you're only scoring goals and not contributing to build-up play, then essentially you're the passenger of your arguably superior teammates who are making those goals for you, which I think is a really big part of football. And the move in football tactically is towards universality, is towards players being able to have a load of skills on their belt, as opposed to just one skill which they're incredibly good at. So that's why I think that's incredibly important. The 12th Men I didn't speak about at the end. It's a really interesting project. I absolutely love the idea of a fan commentary, of fans being more involved, of it all happening on YouTube. I really want to bring it back. I already did so earlier this year. I'm going to try to in the new year as hard as I can. I need to find particular hosts, we need to work out how the logistics of it will be, but I really hope I can. And in the future, I've got a few videos that I want to do noted down here. I've got pressing, a bit on women in football, on Gazprom and Crimea, on dodgy transfers, on why I don't think Pele's that good, on defending statistics. I've got a bunch. Not all of them will make it onto the YouTube channel, but I'm trying to record as many of these as I can over December and January, so really do subscribe. I also really am interested to get your thoughts in the comments about Falcao. Like, what do you think about number 9? Should they only need to score goals? Should they need to contribute to build up play? What do you think about Falcao in general? Universality, the statistics I've spoken about here? Let me know. On the 20th of April 2012, Ched Evans was convicted of rape. He was a promising striker playing for Sheffield United, and now questions exist about whether he should be allowed back into football.